Ciao to everybody watching. My name is Anthony, and this is my friend Bruno. We are into Worldwide, and we are coming at you at 4:20 on a Friday afternoon in Southwest Sydney, Australia. And it's great to preview one of the most hyped fixtures in this country, in European and in world football. It's the Derby della Madonnina. It's the Derby Milano, something we can all get excited for. It's just been back to back to back. And there's no one I'd rather be here than to talk all about it with Bruno. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, good. We're 32 hours away from what could be a defining game in both teams' season. So it'll be really interesting to see how it goes.
The momentum is going to seriously be there for the team. It's for the taking momentum wise. If you can get the 3 points in this one, you can really push forward against tricky opponents in the Champions League, albeit ours might be a little bit trickier than theirs. It's still big turnaround fixtures in a short amount of time. And I think that Milan will go into this one a little bit more aggressively than we will, because I feel as though they have dropped unnecessary points this season. I was very upset when we went to Lazio and didn't win, but that can happen to anybody, including us as well when we won the league. I don't think we lost 3-1, but we still lost there. And we turned it around in an obligatory way, though, Bruno. Beating Cremonese is like beating a Serie B side. And we weren't spectacular. We were just better. So I don't really think there's a reason to go into this game thinking that we're going to pump Milan. I know that you're probably going to share a little bit more pessimism than you usually do about this one. But let's go to just a few comments first to acknowledge the 12 to 13 people that are here. Thank you. If you are here, like the video, subscribe. If you are new, Euro chances in the house. Forza Inter. I'm not going to be able to watch the live, but I will check the replay. 7 out of 10 for our Mercato. Wish we signed one more decent midfield, but oh well, too many games need rotation. Yep, absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit about Mercato ending as well. What's going on, brother Matt from Sydney as well. Barella is the best. He definitely was the best against Cremonese, and that goal's a peach. But once again, opponents have to matter. But Barella's going to score that sort of goal against anybody in the world, because he only scores goals like that. He can miss some pretty easy chances, that guy. But that's pretty much one of his trademark hits, isn't it, Bruno?
Yeah, it's textbook Barella. It's like when you saw Nainggolan on the score sheet, you knew it was going to be something spectacular if you didn't watch the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Christian's in the house, as well as Ben Neal and Hoyan as well. A game to turn the media narrative around. Well said. I like that. That's the comment of the day so far. Hello to Emiliano as well, who I think gets the most consistent award for being in the chat so far this season. Thank you so much, brother. And Ben, again, we didn't look good last match. We won because we had better players. They caused us trouble during the game. Yeah, that's very, very well said. It's going to be a long one, Bruno. It's going to be a very, very long derby. And, I'm happy that it's on, Sunday morning. It gives us a little bit of time to recover, respectively, on Father's Day.
Yeah, look, it's always one of those games. The last time we met was in the Coppa, where we belted them 3-0. But in saying that, they got the job done against us twice last season, taking 4 out of the available 6 points. We can go back to 2001 February, where we beat them last 3-0, and it was Martinez double and a Lukaku goal, which got us across the line. But it's a different time. There won't be a Lukaku. We'll touch on that later. But we look to how we played against Cremonese. And it was just a very relaxed Inter, just doing what they need to do to get the job done, because they know their opponents aren't that much of a struggle and not going to hold that much of a challenge. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it can go both ways. Milan still undefeated in the league. They have dropped points to Atalanta and no, it's the Swallow. I'm pretty sure it was. They've dropped points, but they're yet to taste defeat. And how beautiful would it be to taste defeat at the hands of Inter?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go a little bit more into that in a second, but let's talk the last day of the Mercato first. Acerbi basically saying, hey, Ron, calm down. We play together soon. No worries. And this was a good maybe 3 seasons ago because he's rocking that absolutely beautiful third kit, Lukaku. But this is the man. This is Inzaghi's man. And if there was going to be one player that Inter had to sign in the last few days, it had to be this for more reasons than just the manager liking him. We genuinely need a central defender, someone that can replace De Vrij in the off chance that A, he's completely out of form, and B, he gets injured or, is unavailable because he's also going to the World Cup. Acerbi is Italian. Just newsflash for anybody that doesn't know, he's not going for the World Cup. So we need a player like this. And I get it. It sucks because I know he's a Milan youth product, and I know he conceded a goal so ludicrously ridiculous in context to what it was about last season that it just ticked us all off to the point of no return. I wasn't impressed. I'm impressed that Matt Pickett and his Third World Internet have been able to join us, but let's give it a crack. How you going, brother?
Good, bro. Good, boys. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can,
nice
man.
and clear.
They're doing a good job with the construction and the wiring in Austral then.
100%. 100%.
What do you think about Acerbi coming in, man?
I don't mind it. This is the same guy that he won a Euro with Italy last year, and he played when Chiellini was out, so if we have a De Vrij injury or someone else, I think he's the perfect guy to come in and join this defense. That's just my opinion anyway.
Yeah, what are you saying about it, Bruno?
Oh, look, I think he's a very good backup, better than what we've had in the past, having to rely on a D'Ambrosio playing out of position or DeMarco playing out of position. You've got someone who can fit into that team well. And you've already got the chemistry with Bastoni from the international duties going in there. So, look, as a backup, fantastic. I can't see him starting too many games. But then again, Inzaghi's our manager. Anything's possible.
Yeah, fair call, man. I like this comment here. The boys got what they want, and that was to keep the squad together. Now they need to win this game. That's true when you look at our Mercato. When we looked at it at the start, it wasn't looking great. It was looking grim. We had Bastoni on the chopping block first. Obviously, the Skriniar saga seemed to just absolutely go on forever. And then Gosens with a nice little cherry on top to finish. But it looks like we have kept everybody together that we knew that we would be able to keep together. Perisic was always the 50-50, that just didn't go our way. So I guess at the end of the Mercato, Bruno, it's actually not fair when you look at our set transfers in to call it anything less than a 7, which is what our first comment Euro chance rated it. So I'm happy to actually call it a 7.5. Teetering on an 8, but the only reason it loses points is because we knew what our main objectives were and we didn't. Our main targets were and we didn't get them.
Our transfer marker was a 5. It was a 5. You'd be lucky to call it that. I think Lukaku really brings it to that number as well as Anana. When you're linked and basically have pen to paper with these world-class players and you just stuff them around. I want to use other words there, but you just stuff them around that much to the point where they sign with your direct rivals, you're doing something wrong. There's an issue. And
I like it.
It's going to be an issue that's going to consistently face this club when this ownership doesn't know what they're doing. Simple as that. There's too many. They're trying too hard to cross their I's and dot their T's, get themselves out of this hole they've gotten themselves into, to the point where the club goes into jeopardy. The talks of Skriniar to PSG did not die down until the Mercato actually closed. That's where the club's at the moment. And to rate it anything higher, we're just a mediocre club now. Like, we can't sign these free agents because we take our time. We waste too much time. So it's one of those things where, if you want to be optimistic about it, fantastic. If that keeps you going through the day, but this is going to keep on happening. We're going to consistently be linked with these great players who want to come to this fantastic club, but management, they're too slow to act. And look at what Dybala's doing at Roma at the moment. Look at what Bremer's doing at Juventus at the moment. Both of them getting their club's points. And, it's just, Yeah, I don't want to go too much on because I can go for a very long time, but
No, it's nice, bro. I like it. I like shutting up and not being the one that's pessimistic for once. This is great. Usually, you're just a blind
it's not very
optimist that puts
pessimistic. It's
Vecino in his family. Might as well put him in your family, bro. You got him in your fantasy team, and
look, it's. I don't like to say it's pessimistic. I like to say it's realistic because it's happened time and time again. Hakimi, we couldn't even afford to keep the guy at our club. He had one fantastic season. Let's go as far back as João Cancelo. Look at what he's doing for Manchester City now. The guy wanted to stay with our club. Our management couldn't get their shit together. So essentially, we're going to consistently miss out on retaining these great players, keeping these great players. They're on the verge of getting rid of Gossens. If it wasn't for 2 measly million euro, they would have got rid of Gossens. And then what? We would have been stuck. We would have been down. DeMarco playing there all season, every game. I don't think he's Champions League quality, if you ask me. So I don't know. These management, we had a very easy run to back this up. Get 2 in a row, 2 Scudetti in a row. But it's just lack of management. Marotta's doing the best he can, and there's someone there holding him back. But this is a derby preview, so let's keep going.
Yeah, well, just quickly, I just really want Matt's opinion on it. That's all. What would you rate the Mercato out of 10, Matt?
I'll be the more positive guy. I think because of all that dead weight we got rid of, I'll say it's a 7. Like, you know, Vecino, Vidal, Sanchez, Kolarov, Ranocchia, all those guys. If you added Gagliardini to that list, it would have been a 10 out of 10 for me. But unfortunately, we've kept that guy.
But Sanchez dead weight? Look at what he's doing for Marseille.
Look at his wage. Look at his age. Look what he wanted. He wanted to be a star.
Look what he did for Inter last year. I think he was the decisive goal in a couple of those cup finals.
He doesn't want to be a super sub, but that's the problem.
Worth 8 million, in my opinion, a season.
But his attitude is huge baggage. He would have gone up to him when you need to double my minutes or he's going to leave. He knew he was going to leave. And Matt Marseille, he's going to start pretty much every game now.
Like if he started with Lautaro, I wouldn't have been upset. But the thing is, you've brought back Lukaku, who we know is a 20-goal minimum goal scorer. You know, you're not going to play Sanchez. He was just going to sit on the bench. We should have probably brought in Dybala. That's the one if we wanted to add depth. Bremer is another one we missed out on, of course. But Aslani, he's going to have a bright future. And that's a very, very good signing that's so underrated for this club. So I see
Matt,
him doing good things.
Before we turn this into a debate, do you see Aslani getting game time under Inzaghi?
Not
do you
this year.
see Bellanova getting proper game time under Inzaghi? That, they're fantastic signings, but are we going to take advantage of them?
Not this season. I think it'll be, if we compare it to Milan when they signed Tonali, that's the sort of thing I see. Maybe a season or two, them being, on the fringe of starting and not getting much experience. But then once they do get experience, different level. So I see that sort of. Aslani, man, he's so raw. He's so raw with talent. And if we can just, massage that, he's going to be a very, very good prospect for this team.
You never know. Have a little bit of faith. Inzaghi's already put them in for, bare minimum minutes when results aren't really, of the importance in the scoreline. But I still think that they'll rotate some games because they're coming at us hard and fast, harder and faster than they've ever come at us before in football. It's too much. It's way too much football. Eventually, players are going to burn out. They're going to burn out mentally as well. And you're going to have to hope that you've got quality like Aslani and Bellanova ready to step in. Yeah, they're not world class, but their Serie A quality. They can come in and do a role and a job. And you know that they can. That's why we've got them into this side. So hopefully Inzaghi knows that as well. But I definitely wouldn't be against them playing more minutes. All right, let's actually get to the point of the video. It's been really, really good. And we've got 23 here. So make sure you like it as well. Do it right now if you have not. Milan's run of form on the left and Classifica on the right. Atalanta did pretty well, actually, today. Toon Koopmeiners called him to be a really good signing like a year and a half ago when he first signed for them. But don't want to get sidetracked. We're on 4 matches played, 3 wins, 1 loss, 9 goals scored for, 5 conceded, 9 points to Milan's 8 after they drew 0-0 against Sassuolo in the previous match day. Going into this, let's start to talk about just general thoughts, and then we'll get a couple of images on screen, and we'll talk about lineups to finish off and predictions. I'm going to start with Matt. I'm pretty pessimistic. I know Bruno is as well, but what are your first thoughts going into this? Are the nerves of not actually playing well against Cremonese starting to settle? Starting to seep in pretty heavy?
Yeah, our first 3 games that we've started, first 4 games, we've been terrible. Pessimistic me comes out and I say we cannot win this game. We will not win this game. We may draw, but we will not win this game. And it's just realistic. We're at a position where we have not played well all season. There's been nothing for me to be confident in this side. I saw Milan last week against Sassuolo. They had a lot of good chances. They just didn't take their chances. So they're on the other side of it where they're actually creating a lot. They're playing good football. We're on the other side where we just look really bad. Even against Cremonese, it looked like a training match. There was no intensity at all for me in that game.
Yeah, no intensity as well. Like with the build-up play as well. When I watched the goals back, something stood out for me because I didn't watch the game live. I'm like, we scored all these goals on the break. We scored every single one of these goals just out of sheer quality and pace on the break. And we won't really be able to do that against a much more well-organized midfield and progressive Milan. Like when Milan progress the ball forward, even when they get you up a man and can beat you up a man, they're just very well to hold their shape again on the transition. And Sassuolo wasn't too bad for them. Wasn't too bad against them. They had a Berardi penalty saved by, head and shoulders the best goalkeeper in the league. And in my opinion, top 5 in Europe. He's just fantastic, Mike Magnan. And he's going to be a problem for us as well. And don't get me started on our particular problem in goals at the moment, because we know Onana's not coming into this starting lineup. Bruno, share the pessimism with us to finish off, and then we'll start talking a little bit more.
This would be the perfect game for Onana to be brought into this squad. Because
any game is the perfect game now. G.
No, I think this is why we brought him, for high intensity, high pressure situations. And imagine he does something phenomenal with this squad and he saves and we managed to get a point somehow. I feel Onana would be instant permanent starter. And if he does fail, well, that's a failure on Inzaghi's behalf, because Handanovic has shown time and time again that he slips up. Now, you chuck Onana in and he fails, well, why didn't you start him against Cremonese? So I think it would be a good idea to start him, because we're not going to score too many goals. Just the way we're playing and the way Milan's playing. And I hate to be the downer, because at the end of the day, I'm always very optimistic. But unless these teams have just been practicing the last couple of games, and look, we've had a fantastic run. We started off with Lecce, we just beat Cremonese. You haven't had to try too much to get the game in the bag, because you're playing subpar teams. But I have a feeling the team might switch on. They might switch on this game, and I'm optimistic that they will. But it will be critical to what we discuss next, and that is the lineup. And if Inzaghi picks the right starting 11, the right starting 11 can defeat any team. He just needs to know what he's doing.
He just needs to know what he's doing, and he needs to make sure that his substitutions are just on point to the point, because that's really where he struggles in his game. And he has struggled in his game like that since he was managing Lazio. I swear, do you guys remember the game where I think it actually was against Milan, where he basically subs Immobile and it might have been Luis Alberto or out at the exact same time with about 4 minutes left, and it just completely shifted the game until Milan grabbed the winner. I don't know if you boys remember it. Do you remember that one, Matt?
Yeah, I do. Is that the one? I'm pretty sure Lazio are in complete control. He made those subs, and then did Milan score 2 goals in the last 5 minutes to take the win? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it wasn't 2 in the last 5. I think it was like 2 in the last 15. But the second goal came right in the last of the 92nd or 93rd minute. It was a disaster, bro. And like he's had some disastrous substitutions at this side already. So I'm really, really not looking forward to seeing it. But let's have a look at what the projected lineups are up on the screen right here. We've got Pioli going with a 4-2-3-1, and we've got Inzaghi going with his infamous 3-5-2. I like our lineup in terms of who we have to put in. Like, it's pretty much the best lineup for right now, except for Gosens. Obviously, Lukaku doesn't count because he's injured. And obviously, Onana doesn't count because, let's face it, I'm not going to flog the same dead horse I did when I started this podcast in 2018. It's over for me now. Handanovic is just permanently statued in that spot. DiMarco's not a bad player. He's definitely not a bad work rate player, but he's not world class. And in a match like this, I don't know how much passion and heart is going to get him over the line. Starting Dzeko alongside Lautaro, it makes sense when you look at the way Pioli plays with Milan, because I don't think Joaquin Correa is going to get anywhere near the intricate positions in the first half. So it makes sense to have a player that can more hold it up to a much more bootleg wish.com version of what Romelu Lukaku could do. But Joaquin's got the slighter nudge of form at the moment, which could and should probably put him as the strike partner. That's my 2 cents about what is decent about the lineup and what's not. What is decent is the back three should be okay, except for that annoying headline that Bastoni might miss it as well. Hopefully not, because then maybe Gosens might actually be forced to play left wing back, unfortunately, for Inzaghi. But you got to like seeing Dumfries in there as well. We'll go to Bruno first for our lineup. And there's 26 people right here, which is actually really nice. Make sure you like the video if you're in the house. Helps us a lot.
Gosens needs to be on the pitch. We've got the biggest game of our season coming up next Wednesday or Thursday against Bayern Munich. They're going to get the most rest they can get now. Gosens hasn't played. Get him on the pitch. Have the quality of this team against the champions of Italy. Honestly, I'd start Correa over Dzeko. You say he won't get into the intricate positions that Dzeko could get into, but I feel if Correa starts over Dzeko, Martinez gets more of a controlling lead up front, and when he does get that opportunity, he has a fantastic game. If it doesn't work, take him off in the 60th minute and bring on Dzeko, because Dzeko in the second half is a lot better than Dzeko starting. That's my opinion. Dzeko playing against a defensive line who's got 65 minutes in their legs already, he can take a lot more advantage. It's like starting your Lukaku because he just knows what he's doing. But that's most probably the lineup I'd like to go with. Onana needs to get in this team. I just feel Onana needs this game. And yeah, Bastoni, De Vrij, Skriniar. If Bastoni does move out, I just think you've got it wrong, Ant. I think D'Ambrosio will come straight in and supports Dumfries.
So what, you'd move Skriniar to the left side of De Vrij? When was the last time Skriniar played on the left-hand side?
I'll put Skriniar in the middle.
And what, you shift De Vrij?
I'm thinking like Inzaghi. Does it make sense? No, but is it what he would do? Yes.
I don't know, man.
D'Ambrosio
came in on. If Bastoni is not available, the only starter there for him is DiMarco, because unless he thinks, well, yeah, or a Cherby, there you go. Unless I don't know if they can register him in time. But what was I going to say? How many minutes did D'Ambrosio play at left centre back when he was subbed on in the last game? Was it a lot?
Right. Skriniar switched to the other side.
Skriniar switched to the other side. There you go. So he might switch Skriniar after all.
I just think it's frustrating because before the Lukaku injury, I had big hopes for this game because this game meant so much to Lukaku.
Yeah,
just him as an individual, he had so much. But I feel Çalhanoğlu's going to turn it on after what they did in the celebrations. This game is either going to make or break him. They're either going to have him, committing fouls and potentially getting sent off because they're under his skin, or he's just going to be like, I might have lefties. Yeah, you might have won the Scudetto, but look what I can do, and just run rings around them. So
Yeah.
I really don't mind the starting lineup other than Dzeko. I think he's a perfect super sub when the defense, because you look at their defense, they've got a couple of, they've got a couple of youngsters who will keep Dzeko at bay. Whereas you bring him in 65 minutes in, they're tired, they're fatigued. Dzeko can actually be on par with them rather than chasing them.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that. He can actually be on par with them rather than trying to chase them. That's well said, man. I don't want Correa to burn out. I'm a little worried because he's a delicate flower. This guy, you can just tell. So he's always very, very close to an injury. So we'll see how he's handled in training coming up to it. Matt, what are you thinking about our lineup before we go over to Milan and then talk predictions?
Yeah, I agree with Bruno. I think this was the game to start Gossens. This was the one. If we're gonna like incorporate him into this team and get him some confidence, this was actually the game. He gets an assist against Milan. He gets a goal against Milan. He's a different player.
He's already got one against Milan
in Serie A, but
yeah, true.
I know that was in the Coppa when we smashed him. But
yeah,
like
but
in this,
you
right
know
now,
what? You say that, Pix, but what about Eriksen's goal against Milan and what
True.
that did for his season?
True, but that was we're talking this year. He hasn't been played this year. That was last year in February. Oh, sorry, this year in February. It was earlier.
Yeah.
But even then, he didn't get much playing time after that. Perisic still kept his spot,
Yeah.
where Eriksen actually then started getting incorporated and he started playing. But with Dzeko up front, I would like to see him 70th minute come on. Correa from the start would make sense, getting those defenders tired and actually creating stuff with the ball at his feet. On Di Marco, I actually think his best position is left centre back. Like where Bastoni is, like them switching together. When he plays as that left wing back, he seems to just get himself caught up in the weirdest positions and he can't track people. I don't know why. So as a centre back, maybe at a centre back he can he actually plays the line. Where I don't know, wing back.
He just gets beaten in the air. I think tactically he's been fine at left centre back. It's just in the air. Obviously, he's going to get beat because he's short.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. And their team, obviously we know it's a good team, but Inzaghi, if he started Gagliardini for SMS, to look after him, then I don't know. Maybe he's going to start him to look after bloody Tonali.
God, I hope not, man. That would be the worst.
I really don't know. Or this Di Ketelaere.
Yeah, he looks good, but man, he looks good, that Belgian player, man. So let's go and talk about Milan and where the threats are going to be. Magic Mike in goals, in my opinion, best goalkeeper in the league. Kalulu and Tomori, Theo Hernandez on the left, Calabria on the right. Benacer and Tonali play the double pivot very reliably as well. Rafael Leao, who was still linked to Chelsea up until deadline day. I was spewing that he didn't go. Their new signing, Charles de Ketelaere, who is in good form. Every time he picks up the ball, he just runs with it in hella space. So we're going to have to shake him up a little bit early. I'm hoping Brozovic can have a good part in that. And Olivier Giroud up front. It's going to be, I think Milan are going to really take control in the first half of this game. I like our chances on growing into the game against the tired Milan side here. And, this Joaquin starting against Lautaro is just making more and more sense as we're talking about it. But there's a lot of threat here, boys. A lot of threat. And, Handanovic is going to have to be on his A game. And so is Milan Skriniar, because Rafael Leao is going to come at him like a ton of bricks, man. And that Dumfries, he can also get a little bit caught out of position. And I think Rafael Leao is the perfect player to expose Dumfries, overconfidence when he gets a little bit too far forward. And Olivier Giroud is still on point, still a hitman. So the threats are there. Bruno, who worries you the most? There's 30 people here. Big up. Like the video. Enjoy.
The squad is a great squad. On paper, you rate them against other squads. They're not that good, but they're still running on the high of winning a Scudetto. You've got players proving themselves. Leao has the ability to pull anything out on any given day and have, this massive performance that shuts everyone up. Theo Hernandez, again, same thing. it will be up to Brozovic, who will play a big part in defining how this game goes. And, you know, a lot of these players in Milan's team are looking to make their World Cup squad. They're not guaranteed positions. You look at a player like Giroud. Well, he's up against Griezmann for who's reserved for the French team. Because essentially, you know, Mbappe is getting that starting position and Benzema. Well, which one's going to come in? And Giroud's having a better season than Griezmann. You know, Leao, same thing. So it'll be very interesting. I think the issue that we experienced last season was we didn't know where the threats were coming from with Milan because they're coming from everywhere. And I just think we need to get the basics right in this game, and that's how you shut Milan out.
Yeah, fair. Matt, over to you for the very threatening AC Milan, but they have been seen caught out this season already a couple of times. They're not in top form. They've definitely got the momentum. They've got the hype. They've got the badge on the chest as well, but they're not in top form either. So if we can just expose some of their weaker points, like, you know, I think that Teo Hernandez can get forward a little bit and also lose his positioning a fair bit. And I know that Tomori and Kalulu are two very reliable defenders, but I still don't think that they're perfect. What are you thinking, Matt?
Yeah, you've just said it. Their strength is their weakness. Teo Hernandez, as good as he is attacking, defensively he opens them up. So if Skriniar somehow can weave his magic and look after Leao and Hernandez, then Dumfries will be able to push forward, and that's where we'll break them open. But realistically, that's very hard to do. Tomori's very strong, and he covers a lot of ground at the back there.
He does.
Their midfield, Benacer in their midfield, I think that's another weakness. I think we can expose him. He's been in and out of that side for a year and a half now. He hasn't really cemented his spot like everyone thought he would have. But yeah, the rest of them around the pitch, they're very strong. Like even Macias, who's a Serie C player, he looks like he belongs in the top league. So yeah, a lot of strength. And then obviously Mayan at the back there doesn't concede many goals. So it's going to be a tough
I like
task.
this comment.
Oh yeah, 100%. This goes side in side with a derby feeling, man. There have been so many derbies against Milan that we have approached that I thought that we were not going to win, and we have, most notably under Spalletti. Went into a lot of derbies with Spalletti thinking we had no hope, and we somehow pulled it out. Do you remember the one where they wore the anniversary kit, the full-blown anniversary kit? And it was like the 7 or 8 different kits in one.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't think
yellow
we stood
one?
a chance. I didn't think we stood a chance at that.
It was one of those kits that just went. They had 8 or 9 years worth of different kits incorporated into the one. It was this,
and it had like the gold across the front. The gold.
It had the gold front. I've got it in the other room. I'll try and find it.
Yeah, you've got it. You've got it. Anyway, we approached that game and Vecino scored in like the 4th minute. Of course he did.
It's true, but like, you know, we talk about that. This January when we versed Milan, when we were leading by 7 points, I was so confident. I did not think we could lose that match. Like, that's how confident I was. Where today, I'm the complete opposite. I do not think we can win this match. So, yeah, you know, I hate football sometimes.
It's the worst, bro. Let's talk predictions. Bruno off camera, I'm going to tell the people what he said. He said 3-0. I wonder if he's still going to say it now in the video, but I'm going to go first.
Yeah, it's 3-0 AC Milan.
3-0. There you go.
I just think Inter have struggled against the worst teams. Well, the teams who are supposedly meant to be the worst. Whereas AC Milan's still the best. And if we come out of this with a point, I think Interisti, Inzaghi, Zhang, Marotta would be extremely happy with the way the team's been performing. Moving into Champions League, the motivational boost this will have on them would mean massive things for them, especially considering we'd still be ahead of them. Because let's be real, AC Milan's our biggest rivals. They're last year's champions. We're the ones who want to take it off them. So if we're ahead of them, we're doing better than the champs.
Yeah. Matt, 3-0 for Bruno. What about you?
I'm going to go the most positive I can be, and I'm going to say a 2-2 draw. That's the best result we can get from this game.
Interesting. Who do you think can score for us in this game, bro?
as much as I hate Lautaro and Dzeko up front, I think they're our 2 goal scorers.
Yeah. I think we might get our first penalty of the season in this game. Something's telling me there's a really painful penalty coming. I never said that we were going to score it, so get that out of your heads because Lukaku's not in. My boy Stefan Rossi says 1-1. Rami says a draw. So does Huyan. I'm going to go with 2-1, comprehensive 2-1 for Milan. They might even go 2-0 up for majority of the game, and we pull one back and look for a second that we're motivated, but not so much. And I think Lautaro scores in this game. I actually think this is going to be a really, really big season for Lautaro, man. I think he's going to continue to shine. That's all that we're going to cover Inter worldwide and Inter-wise apart from Serie A Fantasy. Let's do that because I haven't checked what's going on. Feels like a while, but that's only because it feels like 2 match days. So this is getting to be a little bit fun. If I'm still on the last page of this, I am going to spew. There is no way I'm doing another match day. Anyway, we'll see. 139 members. Code's up on the screen, highlighted. It's also in the description as well. Click our link in the description and use the code to join at Serie A Fantasy Worldwide. Did this just automatically go to the last page? Or no? Hey, I've jumped 2 pages, Bruno. There you go, cuz. Coming for you. It's on. Comeback starts here.
Vecino's going to be captain for me this week, so I'll be streaking ahead.
All right, let's see. Matt, what page were you on last time?
I was on page 6 or 7, but I'm on page 3, I think. I've had a good couple of weeks.
All right, good stuff.
I'm in 51st, I think.
There he is. There he is. Who scored you the most points as of late? Oh, yes, Vlahovic. You captained Vlahovic, right? There you go.
I did. Tammy, I had Dybala.
Dybala. Very, very, very good week. Very, very good week. All right, Bruno. Do you know where you are already? Of course you do. You're checking it every day. Oh, man. You know what? It's all because you came in late last season and you cracked the shits big time, eh?
100%.
Lautaro got you most of your points. I've got
Magnan got me.
No, Dybala. Oh, Magnan got 16 points. Wait, I've got Magnan as well, so he must have where I got my points to jump up the 2 pages.
That's how you got up 2 pages.
100%. Now that I'm looking at it, Bremer 9 for the centre back is pretty good. Did Giacomo not play? Because he gets points. Bonaventura. Did he not play at all for Fiorentina again?
Yeah, I got let down because Bastoni and Vecino didn't get game time. So Bonaventura.
They were really disappointing against Udinese, man. That's the first result this season that makes me think Italiano and them are suspect and a tiny bit overrated. And I said it when they signed Jovic, when everyone was gassing him up in some WhatsApp chats. I'm like, people were actually saying this guy will replace Vlahovic. I'm like, he won't, bro. There is no way he's going to replace
He'll
Vlahovic.
replace him, but doesn't
like not to that extent. Yeah, not to that extent. Yeah. Oh, well.
We'll see this week. They've got Juventus this week. So
yeah, good matchup. Very good matchup. All right. Any parting words from the gentleman? Bruno, thank you for stopping by. Happy Friday, my brother, and happy Father's Day for Sunday.
Thank you. No, look, it's going to be a good game. As pessimistic or optimistic as you are, you know the derby is going to be one of the most tightly contested fixtures in the calendar for Inter as well as for Milan. Doesn't matter where you are on the table. The players know to step up, and we've got a lot of players in this squad that know the value of this derby. So I think it's going to be tight. 3-0 is just me getting angry. But yeah, 2-1, 2-2, something like that. I just think it's going to be a game worth watching.
If we can keep it tight and keep it as a draw, we've got plenty of players on the bench that can come on and make the difference in the last 20 minutes. As you said, in a game like this, the players that know the weight of this game and the badge on what it means are huge. You know, if you bring D'Ambrosio on for 20 minutes in this game, I will be gassed because that's exactly when D'Ambrosio needs to come on with about 15 minutes left chasing a goal. That being said, Aslani's energy to inject in this game at 1-1 in the 70th minute. Imagine that. It would be really, really something. Same with Correa. Then I hope that Inzaghi doesn't wait too long to make his substitutions. But at the same time, I don't want to see him be making 3 before the hour mark because I think in a derby like this, things can shift extremely quickly, as we saw last season. You got to keep at least, it's 5 substitutes, man. There's no reason to not keep one in the bank until pretty much the very last minutes of the game. Matt, what are you saying, man? Good to see you again. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, good to see you, boys. Are you guys going to stay up for it, or are you going to wake up for the game? It's at 2 a.m.
I'm just been at a wedding on Saturday, so I'm just going to kick on until 2 a.m.
That's the way to do it.
That's an easy kick on from a wedding, 2 a.m. No, I like the Fiorentina Juventus game at 11 o'clock, so I'll be up to watch that and then just watch the Milan Inter game. If we win, I'll stay up for Lazio Napoli. If we don't, I'll go to bed straight after that. What about you, Matt?
Yeah? Good plan. Yeah. I might catch a few of the games.
Yeah, and happy Father's Day to you, my bro.
And to you, bro. I'm a dog dad. So
oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah. Oh
that's
yeah.
the most important one at the moment.
Oh yeah, you're a father as well, though, aren't you?
Nah. Just the dog, bro.
I got that one mixed up, man. All right, I think that's it. Is there anything else, Bruno? Anything coming up on Football Worldwide?
No. But we will talk about that off screen. I have some big plans coming up, so let's save that for the fans.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Chris, Skill Power. Thank you, Rami. Thanks, Hoyan, Stefan, Lord Figo. Funny as always. Thank you as well to Harry. Thank you, Kamal. Thank you, everybody else that came into the chat as well. Ben, Emiliano, we appreciate it. Forza Inter Worldwide. Ciao.